okay, we are working mainly on resilience of infrastructures, but also on structural reliability, robust design, reliability-based design, so in the bigger picture, because all this belongs together. But the bigger topic of resilience captures basically a much broader field. And that is something, there is a big need in the society to work on resilience to cope with these big challenges like sustainability, carbon footprint, and climate change. So there is actually a big lack in research because there is no approach available which covers this big picture in a kind of coherent way, bringing together all the disciplines which are needed in order to do this research. Yeah, and that is what we actually also want to do with the conference, to bring people together with different backgrounds or from different backgrounds in order to work together and to, let's say, develop, let's say, big things, big approaches in order to address these challenges.
Yes, and the main challenges that Professor Beard described, economics plays a major role. At the end of the day, any solutions we come up with will require resources. And the challenge for us is economic efficiency in order to provide solutions that will give us the largest benefit to cost ratio. And always there are trade-offs in terms of enhancing our infrastructure. So economic efficiency is key, and the key consideration in performing or doing the economic efficiency is the attitude of the decision maker towards the risk. Typically, people are neutral in their risk attitude, but we advocate maybe we should be sometimes risk averse, which means we should be spending more for certain type of hazards. So the paper, my presentation is going to focus on how to account for risk aversion in our decision making. And of course we need to have, it has to be founded properly. And we are using markets such as the insurance market and catastrophe bond markets to come up with methods and quantification of the risk aversion in our decision making.
So this is related to the first question. This is again bringing together people from different fields in order to work on the big challenges in a focused way. And here with this special issue, we are in particular interested in the connection between environmental sciences and civil engineering. Because looking at the impact of climate change, that is changing our loads. And that is changing loads in the broader context. Not only directly loads like storms, but also flooding, which is kind of more like indirect, because that is influencing a lot of infrastructure that may cause a lot of damage, which is not a direct load which we usually consider in the codes, but it's something which can cause damage based on hazards. And these things are pretty much related to integrity of our structures, functionality of our structures, and we need to bring together people to look at these things in one context. And we want to show to the community that these things go hand in hand, that in order to, let's say, come up with good solutions, good design of infrastructure, we really need to consider these potential impacts.
I mean, selecting a journal for collaboration it's all about reaching the right audience. So I think we'll and to tailor the coverage of papers and so on, and the selection of papers for a special issue in order to be effective in communicating to that audience groups. It's all about communication at the end of the day. And to select the authors who are strong in their fields and they could be viewed as a reliable source for the advice and the materials that's being communicated. When we do communication, it's important to understand, I think the starting point is really the audience, and then the message, and then the reliability of the source, and then the medium, which is in this case is the journal. Topics for potential other special issues, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think always when I pursue research, I want impactful items. And I could say the same thing. If you want to identify topics for special issues, they should be impactful, right? I leave the market and how many copies to sell and so on the business side to other people to figure out. But in terms of impactful item, I'll say focusing on the challenges facing our societies globally, right? And certainly things such as climate adaptation and mitigation is central to all of this. The other consideration is emerging technologies that could have big impact on our society. For example, machine learning, AI, those are quite impactful. Energy sources and the use of electrification of everything, automobiles and so on. So this all could give us, a very important area. The increase in risks, we see big coastal damages and flooding and drought and so on. So bringing in, at the very end, it's about societies and communities. So bringing in the socioeconomics and the economics related to storms and so on will be very important.
So not too much to add because you covered basically everything. But maybe one item is it is helpful to connect also the topics of the special issues some way to the very big goals and very big problems, like for example the Sustainable Development Goals and the grand challenges of the National Academy of Engineering. I think these links make sense because that is the very, very big hot topics where also the political level is interested. And if we link our engineering approaches to these big challenges, I think then that can create higher impact.
Oh, this is, I think, if I may add, this is outstanding because there are UN designated goals, 17 of them, I believe, right? So maybe trying to link special issues and demonstrate that they tie to these UN goals will make them quite impactful.
The best way is really to attract high-profile people into the board and engage them also to submit papers, help them solicit papers and run special issues and promote the journal. Basically, that is a key point. The board needs to have very strong people and they need to be also representative for the range of subject areas which the journal is covering. And another thing is that these people on the board, they need to be able to collaborate.
Yeah.
That is a very important thing. And then try to encourage them to, let's say, generate some self-sustainable mechanisms so that people come up with own suggestions and these things. And another very important item is to really pay attention to quality of the papers. So it's not the number of papers published. I would say it is better to have not too many issues of the journal, but have a very high quality of the papers, because that will help with the development of the impact factor. This will help also with, let's say, attracting high citations to papers. So promote then these papers with the high citations, so that people can see, okay, this journal is facilitating high quality research, and that will attract then also more papers to be submitted.
I think that's, you covered it fully. I mean, the only thing I will add, or I maybe stating it slightly differently, just to give it different perspective. When you have a new journal, you are building a community that goes with it, right? Which really feeds along the lines of what you are saying, that if you want to build a new community that would become defining that journal, you would like to get well-known individuals involved in it. Right? You'd like to have credible content, and that first impression, either it will make it take off or it will sink, right? So it's important that people and content, right? The other thing which could be done is review papers, maybe state-of-the-art papers in very hot topics, emerging fields. This can give you a good start.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, this maybe to add on, this in relation again to the special issues, because it makes most sense if you have a hot topic, have a special issue and the lead paper, which is a review paper, and that by established people, I think that is perfect. Or by a mix of people. Maybe have one established person and some young people who are just working on emerging technologies, who have basically energy to go into these new fields. I think that makes a lot of sense.